Hello, thank you for joining us on CoreTV News at 7. I am Frank Omalape. President Muhammad Buhari on Sunday urged African leaders to place the interests of their countries above narrow personal interest. He gave the charge while chairing the African Union Peace and Security Council meeting at the ongoing African Union Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa. The president noted that as the meeting focus on situation of South Sudan and Burundi, it required the leaders to put the situation in both countries in proper context. He said, and I quote, "The people of these countries are suffering while their political leaders are bickering among themselves," end of quote. He noted that the continent was undoubted with conflict of diverse forms, including the crisis in Burkina Faso, Mali, Libya, Central African Republic, South Sudan, and more recently in Burundi. The Nigerian president added that the leaders must make deliberate effort to save the face of Africa. President Muhammad Buhari on Saturday said he had directed that 21 million US dollars out of the pledge of 100 million US dollar which Nigeria made to the multinational joint task force be released within the next 1 week. Buhari disclosed this while chairing a meeting of the African Union Peace Security Council at the ongoing 25th African Union Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa. Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima says the government has concluded plans to commence the reconstruction of communities destroyed by the insurgents to enable the inhabitants to return home. Communities in 22 out of the 27 local government areas of the state were ravaged by the Boko Haram insurgents after years of attacks. Shettima spoke to newsmen in Maiduguri on Saturday after his return from a foreign trip. Shettima said some communities with minimal damages have started returning. According to him, people from behind the hills in Goza cannot go back home because of the communities have been completely wiped out. He also said that he expressed optimism that the federal government will support the state towards rebuilding the structures. He said lasting peace will soon return to the state following the recent effort by the federal government. Shettima, who accompanied President Muhammad Buhari on a trip to the neighboring Chad, Niger Republic, and the G7 summit in Germany, said the meetings were fruitful. The All Progressive Congress, APC, Scandinavian chapter has vehemently condemned the result of the elections held at the National Assembly on Tuesday, which produced Senator Bukola Saraki as Senate President. The APC's Scandinavian chapter condemned what it called manner and way Saraki and his APC cohort treacherously worked against the party to emerge the President of the 8th Senate and the Honorable Yakubu Dogara as Speaker of the House of Representatives respectively. According to Ayola, the chapter urges the national leadership of the party to weigh in and set the record straight by meting out the appropriate sanction and punishment against any individual or group for any anti-party activity. Following the wrangling between some leaders within the All Progressive Congress on the emergence of Senator Bukola Saraki as the Senate President and Yakubu Dogara as the Speaker House of Representatives, the Kwara Concerned Citizens has warned anyone to desist from their disrespectful ways against the APC National Publicity Secretary Lai Mohammed. The group affirms that the statement made by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Lai Mohammed, is not his own, but that of the party, since he articulates the position of his party at many levels, including intra- and inter-party, national as well as international. The group says he is expected at all times to put the interests of the party above his own. It says it will be unfair, illogical to conclude that Lai Mohammed's statement conveying the immediate reaction of his party to the elections in the National Assembly means he is opposed to the election of his kinsman Bukola Saraki as the President of the Senate. President Muhammad Buhari is set to unveil lists of his ministers next week, barring any unforeseen circumstances that may prevent it. Two of those expected to make the new list of ministers are the immediate past governors of Lagos State, Babátúndé Fáṣọlá, who may be appointed the Minister of Justice and the Attorney General of the Federation, and former governor of Ekiti State, John Kaude Fahimi. Similarly, former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant Abdurrahman Dambazao, may also come in for a very sensitive security appointment. The list will also be sent to the National Assembly, which had formally resumed duties following its inauguration on Tuesday. Apart from the ministerial appointment, the President will also make some others necessary appointments. This will include appointment into the office of the Secretary to Government of the Federation. Wife of the President, Hajia Aisha Buhari, on Saturday hosted all the Progressive Congress women and youth to an elaborate reception at the Old Banquet Hall of the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Hajia Buhari organized the event Tag Appreciation Dinner to thank APC stakeholders for working for her husband's victory at the March 28 presidential election. The APC women leader, Hajia Ramatu Tijani, delivered a welcome address in which she advised that the party leadership must ensure that they deliver on the change they promised Nigerians. You're still watching CoreTV News at 7. We'll take a break and I'll be back shortly.
It is often said that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. But what about the things in life that actually inspire us to believe? Like the things that drive us, the things that move us, and even the things that remind us that the sky really isn't our limit. Because when we are inspired, we are led to future greatness. But first, we just have to believe.
One day I want to build Nigeria's first aeroplane.
I know. One day you'll make us proud.
Rich and creamy pig, extra fortified with 28 vitamins and minerals. Here's to 60 years of nourishing dreams and inspiring the future. The future is bright. Reach for your peak.
It's CoreTV News at 7. For more information on our news and other programs, like our Facebook page, facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. For other programs, you can log on to youtube.com/CoreTV, give a space in news. The 3 men will trek to Yola in honor of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar are now stranded in Yola. The men Salihu Jibrin, Aliyu Adamu, and Abubakar Suleiman, who spoke to newsmen on Saturday in Yola, said since their arrival, they have been unable to see their mentor, Atiku. They said all they needed was to see Atiku or his representatives to deliver their messages and go back to their various destinations. Adamu, who rode on a bicycle from Kaduna to Yola, said he spent 8 days on the way. On his part, Suleiman, who trekked from Shalin town, Adamawa, to Yola, said he had been squatting from one relation to the other while waiting for an opportunity to see Atiku before going back home. And now the Nigerian Navy on Saturday in Abuja conducted a 2015 second quarter 10-kilometer route march for officers and ratings of the service. The route march was set to ensure that officers and ratings of the Navy were physically fit to discharge their constitutional responsibilities. The march started from the Mogadishu cantonment at Asokoro to Niger Barracks and back to the cantonment. Chief of Naval Staff Usman Jibrin said that the march was part of the 2015 calendar of events for the Navy. Jibrin, who was represented by the Navy Chief of Administration, Gadi Anyakpele, said that it was expected that all naval formation across the country also carried out the march. He said that the exercise will assist the personnel to keep fit and do their job effectively whenever they deploy. Ogun State Governor Alpha Aregbesola says the state allocation from the Federation account in recent time is far less than personnel and wage costs. This, he explained, is why the state had been unable to regularly pay workers' salaries as at when due. Aregbesola spoke with journalists in Abuja shortly after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at Defense House.
Development is application of the resources of the state to not only empower but create wealth. And you don't create wealth by remaining on the same spot, by being stagnant. You create wealth by dynamism. I'm struggling to reduce pain as much as possible. And I'm almost at the end of the efforts I'm making to ensure that by the end of this month, I will have enough to at least meet, to a large extent, the salary needs of the workers in Osun. I'm working on that.
Osun State Governor Rauf Aregbesola. Plateau State Samuel Lalong has approved the dissolution of governing councils of 6 state-owned tertiary institutions, according to a statement signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Rufus Bature. The institutions affected are the Plateau State University Bacchus, Plateau State Polytechnic Barukin Ladi, College of Agriculture, Garukawa, and College of Education, Gendere. Others are colleges of Health Technology, Pakshin, and Sawan. The statement adds that those affected should hand over all government property in their possessions to the head of their respective institutions. And now the Kwara State chapter of the Independent Petroleum Marketers has called on the federal government to deregulate the oil sector with emphasis on the pipeline, stating that the maintenance contract let out by the past administration was ambiguous. Making this call in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, the association says the maintenance contract, instead of securing the pipelines, has resulted in more pipeline vandalization, which usually wind up through investigation. Correspondent Rashid Rashid has details from our studios. The resolve of the new administration to look into the corruption perpetrated in the oil sector is no doubt sending signals across the subsectors as the stakeholders are coming up with suggestions in making the sector transparent. More so, as Muhammad Buhari-led government says the Port Harcourt refinery is set to resume operation, calling on the government to revisit the issue of frequent pipeline vandalism and the maintenance contract by the past administration. The Kwara State chairman of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, Olariwaju Okonlawo, noted that the issue of pipeline vandalization could be best tackled by private companies who have expertise to manage and monitor the pipeline.
Because when we, as of today in Lagos, they are selling 95 naira, and we have transportation costs. The cost of transportation to Ilorin is 250,000, and the PEF will pay us 105. How do we get the argument? Sometimes our truck will be in Lagos for a lot of days before loading. Ilorin depot was designed to be a bridging depot to the north. There are a lot of space, parking space. Even those in Ilorin town, we don't know there is any truck in Ilorin.
With the local production of petroleum products on the way, Olariwaju calls on federal government to repair the Ilorin depot of NNPC, which he said could serve the entire northern state.
The pipeline issue. That is why we are calling for total deregulation. I'm very sure if the pipeline was in the hand of the private sectors, I don't think we have any complaint that the vendors are not allowing them to pump to Ilorin. They're supposed to manage the line so that the product will get to this place. So we urge the government to assist us in that.
The searchlight of Buhari's government is no doubt in the oil sector, and Nigerians eagerly await the outcome of a major policy that will sanitize the sector in days to come. The Department of Petroleum Resources in Eket, Akwa Ibom State said it has sealed off 30 and suspended 7 filling stations from operations in the state in 1 month over illegal practices. The DPR controller of operations in Eket, Asuko Atai, told the news agency of Nigeria in Eket that the stations were closed for under-dispensing and overpricing of the products. He further says the suspended 7 petrol stations were giving products for various stations which were diverted to unknown places. According to Asuko, over 30 petrol stations have been sealed in the last 1 month. He, however, expressed regret that petroleum dealers in some areas still sold the products above the approved price. According to the controller, the culprit and in police detention in the state. You're still watching CoreTV News at 7. We'll take another break now. I'll be back shortly. Join us again.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back now. Burundi Minister of Foreign Affairs Alain Amin Nyamwete said on Saturday that his country was ready to hold elections next month. Nyamwete was speaking and he told the Zua News on the sidelines of the African Union Summit in Johannesburg on Saturday. Nyamwete said he was optimistic that the African Union will give green light for his country's plans to hold elections. However, some opposition parties are insisting that President Pierre Nkurunziza should not be allowed to seek a third term in office. This prompted street protests and a failed coup in the country last month. The crisis in Burundi is one of the issues expected to dominate proceedings at the African Union Summit. The opposition and civil society said Nkurunziza's attempt to run for a third term in office contravenes the country's constitution, which set a two-term limit for a president. U.S. Democratic front-runner Hillary Clinton is holding a first major rally in her presidential campaign. Clinton outlined her key policies in a speech to thousands of supporters on New York City's Roosevelt Island. Her campaign team hopes to boost approval ratings, which have flagged since her soft launch in April. Her husband, former President Bill Clinton, and daughter Chelsea are appearing alongside her. In a video released on Friday, Clinton, 67, put herself forward as the champion of the everyday American. So far, the former U.S. Secretary of State has held small events with selected audiences in early voting states such as Iowa. Saturday's outdoor rally marks a change in gear for her campaign. Clinton hopes to make history as the first female U.S. president. If successful, she will also keep the White House within the same party for a third term. And in sports now, Mali and Senegal, the two remaining African team at the ongoing 2015 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand earlier on Sunday caused major upset at the competition, qualifying for the semi-finals with wins over stronger opponents. Mali defeated European soccer powerhouse Germany 4-3 on penalties after they tied 1-1 in regulation time in their quarter-final encounter in Christchurch. On the other hand, Senegal made short work of Uzbekistan 1-0 in Wellington and qualified to meet Brazil 5-time winners. In the semi-finals, Brazil have also been runner-up 3 times and third-place finishers in 1977, 1989, 2005. They defeated Portugal 3-1 on penalties after drawing 0-0 in regulation play on Sunday. Mali will take on Serbia, which qualified after defeating the US 6-5 on penalties following a 0-0 draw at full and extra time. A Nigerian defender, David Onia, died on Saturday after collapsing on the pitch during a friendly match between his Malaysian club, T-Team, and Kellerton. Local media said the T-Team skipper, 30, collapsed 3 minutes into the match in Kota Baro and was taken to hospital. A T-Team CEO, Ziariaza Moses Zain, told news that Onia did not receive medical treatment quick enough. According to him, speaking with the New Straits Times, Onia suffered a heart attack, but it could have been a different story had the ambulance driver was alert. He said the driver was at the stand watching the game when Onia suddenly collapsed and the defender was deprived of oxygen for several minutes. David Onia was pronounced dead at the hospital about 30 minutes later, he told the Star newspaper. Mania had only just joined the Malaysian club this season after spells in Uzbekistan and Azerbaijan. Well, and that's a wrap on CoreTV News at this time, and thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. Bye for now.